Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So in the last few weeks, you probably have seen the S&P 500 going higher and higher every day. You probably have seen this type of headlines where they talk about the fact that it broke through 500, the fact that it's going higher and higher. And this is the highest it's ever been for forever. Okay. And what we want to do today is what is actually driving the market. That's what we want to know, okay? And what are we doing moving forward? And if you like this type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, join us in the Patreon account where you can actually get access to all the buys and sells, all the ETF trackers, all the dividend trackers, and all the different calendars and so on, and the Sharia and compliant invested ebook. And also you can join the Discord where you can meet brothers who are actually sharing good practices every day. So now going back to my portfolio, as you can see here, it's right now trading 96,000, let's say £500, okay? And the market hasn't gone up in the last couple of months so much. So what I want to share with you guys is what is the main reason? What is the reasons behind this craziness that's happening right now? Is it just natural? Should we be worried? Should we just leave it as it is? Should we just carry on and investing? And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So in 2020 and 2021, everybody was buying every single speculative company that you can think of. These were companies that didn't have any earnings, or some companies that did have earnings. Some of them were the Microsofts and the Apples and so on. Some of them were the DocuSigns, the Teledocs, and every single company that had some sort of a technology was going up to the moon. And then everyone else tagged along. 2021 basically had to be this crazy extreme greed. And then in 2022, these companies completely collapsed. And I genuinely mean it. If you want to check companies, in fact, we're going to check that in a second. Teladoc is one of the companies. I remember this company. So right now it's about 70% down from where it was. I remember this company going up to almost $300 per share. And right now it's just $21 per share. That's crazy. That's 92%, almost 93% down from its all-time highs. And this is the bit that worries me about this market, because when you're actually buying stocks, just because of the momentum they have at that point. So everybody around here was riding along. Okay, so 2020, they were trading about 80 something. Even 2019, this company was basically higher than where it is right now. So by the way, this company, instead of going to a doctor face to face, basically what they do is it's basically virtual healthcare. There you go, virtual healthcare company. So you just basically see a doctor online rather than, and because of COVID, a lot of people actually opted for that, and the company went to the moon, rightly so at that point, because everyone thought we were going to be locked away forever. But the valuations was too much. Maybe if it was $100 per share, it would have been fine. But it went up almost $300. And a lot of people bought it around that time. Because, of course, who was talking about this? That lady, ARK Investor lady, okay, whatever her name is, she was buying a lot of these companies. So since then, it has lost about 93%. And this is the bit that worries me about this whole thing. Block is another company. Let's even just click Block and see what happens. Like in the last 5 years, okay, it's about 13% down, actually. Not bad. Okay, it has recovered. So actually I lied. Look at this. Okay, look at this. Right? From top all-time highs in the last 5 years, in basically just let's say 2021. In fact, maybe that's better. What is that? $276 per share to right now 76% down. So a lot of people have lost a lot of money because of this. Because of that fear of missing out, people were very greedy. People were buying companies that have, maybe they have good earnings, but they can't justify the valuations. And this is the bit that worries me about what's happening right now. And there are 3 companies I'm going to talk about today. 4 companies, in fact. Okay, the 4 companies are Nvidia, Supermicro Computers, okay, Eli Lilly, and then ARM Holdings. So Nvidia, since the beginning of the year, so since January, okay, since beginning of January the 2nd up until now, it's up 50%. Okay, Supermicro Computer, it's up 181%. Listen to this, 181% since then. Okay. And then Eli Lilly, 32%, 86% for ARM Holdings. So these three companies are really what is driving a lot of what's happening in the market. And because of Nvidia, a lot of the semiconductor companies are tagging along. As you can see here, you've got companies like AMDs and Broadcoms. They have tagged along in terms of what's happening. Super Microcomputers, this company, I will show you in a second, is basically has 60+%. I think it was 68% of their revenue basically came from Nvidia sales recently, and I'll share that with you in a second. So these companies have done really, really well. Now, does that mean they're overvalued? Does that mean what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at some of the things that basically are being said about these companies in terms of the analysts. Okay, right. Let's start with Super Microcomputer. This company has actually just reported their earnings. Okay, and as you can see here, the earnings has been absolutely amazing. So they reported on 29th of January, and they beat top line, bottom line, and they guided better moving forward. So the company is basically raising its guidelines for revenue from the range of basically $10 billion to $11 billion to now range of 14.3 to 14.7. Okay, a lot of this comes from, so if we go back here, the company basically deals with a lot of the storage side of it. So server storages, basically they have those massive storages that they create, the data centers that's needed by these huge companies, and every single device that is out there, of course, it needs these servers, and they have these amazing powerful servers that allow all the new AI companies basically to use. For example, Nvidia, and Nvidia is actually buying these companies' products like crazy. So 68% of this company's revenue, they basically that they reported recently, came from Nvidia, which is absolutely madness. So if Nvidia goes down 30, 40, 50%, I bet you this company will follow it. If Nvidia keeps going up, and basically Nvidia in fact is reporting this week. So they report on Wednesday. So Wednesday is very, very important day. After the market closes, we will find out whether we're going to continue this madness or we're going to crash completely. Because if Nvidia comes out and says, okay, we're not doing really great, which is basically completely it's not what we're expecting, then of course the markets, of course, will be going down. But if they come out and they say, yeah, everything is perfect, we are on the trajectory that we said initially, and everything is perfect, then in fact that company is going higher and higher. So let's have a look at Nvidia and where it is. So like I've shown you already, about 46%, 50% up this year. In terms of earnings, this is what they're expecting. And watch this, how many people have actually changed their mind in terms of the EPS and in terms of revenue? 38 people, analysts, this okay, working for different companies, have changed, okay, their predictions for this company. All of it is up, none of them is actually down. So again, there's so much riding on this company. So 38 and then 44 in terms of revenue side of it. So there's so much expectation from this company. And if you look at the estimates for the next few years, next year, not even next year, 2024, we're expecting 270% basically gain in terms of EPS, then 72%. Then it kind of slightly declines to almost 4%, and then it bounces back again. In terms of revenue side of it, almost 120% up the next year. So from almost $60 billion to $94 billion to 115 to 122 to 130. So it's just gonna go up and up and up. This is probably gonna become again another 2 trillion company if this continues, because everybody else is buying this. And this with the world right now, and the stock market needs this company to come out and say, you know what, this is what we said is true, and we're going to continue this trajectory. Okay, so right now basically they have increased that price again. By every analyst is right now increasing it to 1,200, and as you've seen here, the price right now is $700. So you can make easy 500. I'm not saying you should do this, okay, because a lot of people are now basically looking at this company Yeah, it's just crazy. It's absolutely madness. Eli Lilly has already reported on the 6th of February, already reported. They beat both top line and bottom line. Estimates moving forward, as you can see, almost 100% there, 44%, 30%, 23%, and then so on. In terms of revenue side of it, 21%, 22%, 18%, and so on. Again, it has gone up quite a bit. The expectation is very high. If you look at the ratings, for example, Wall Street is actually expecting, okay, their price, they have to keep increasing the price. So right now, $745, that's 17% upside from where it is, okay. So one of the things that I want to show you now is some of the other companies that are reporting this week before we talk about ARM. ARM is another company that has gone up so much. But as you can see here, Home Depot has basically is reporting this week. So that's one of the companies that I own in my portfolio, as well as, like I said, Nvidia is important, the one that's reporting this week. So we look forward to that and see what basically they say. Medtronic is basically reporting as well. So Tuesday, I have two companies reporting. Then I have got into it. Again, I'm actually looking forward to this one. I hope this one crashes to add in at least a 10-15% because I really like the business. I would like to buy more, but it has gone up so much. So if it comes down maybe 10-15%, that would be wonderful. And of course, I would love to add to that. When earnings reports happen, I always look forward to it just to see if the company is healthy. But I just like when the business model and everything else is working, but the analysts basically do not get what they expected. Maybe we miss it by 1p or 1 cent, whatever, and then all of a sudden it goes to basically zero. So that sort of a thing, they drop 10% because just someone said, oh yeah, it's not basically aligning with what we wanted the company to do. So that sort of a thing really helps me, and that's why I always like to buy more of these companies when they actually come down quite a bit. So as you can see here, you can pause the video and have a look at it. Even Teladoc is actually reporting this week. So there are quite a few companies reporting, but the most important one that everybody's watching is Nvidia and what they say. But for me, I am also watching the three companies that I own in this, but that will be reporting this week, inshallah, and then I'll let you know exactly what I think of them and what the report says, inshallah. So ARM is another one of the companies basically that designs all the chips that have been used. So they don't create the chips, and basically they don't make them, they actually design them. So as you can see here, because of the AI situation, because they're actually involved in that side of things, they're up 70% since the company started. And right now, if we look at the earnings expectations, okay, when do they actually report? So they have already reported. Okay, as you can see, they missed the EPS, but they actually beat the top line. In fact, let me just go back quickly. So what I was looking for is basically the breakdown of this company's revenue side of things. But this is really interesting. I've just gone to their financials, and as you can see here, you've got basically the products that we use on daily basis. We've got the companies, the foundries basically that make it and whatever, the chip designers like the Nvidias and so on that make it, and then you've got ARM CPU, which is the brain of everything, if they say. So it's really interesting to see this, because from us using it on our cars and phones and whatever, to companies that actually make the foundries like the TSMCs and so on, and then the designers, and then basically where the architect behind it, this whole thing is basically ARM, which is interesting really. And they have basically, they're in total computer, mobile, they're in cloud, they basically automotive, Internet of Things, they are everywhere. So their ARM platform basically has everything in them, which is quite nice. This is probably going to be one of the biggest, and it is one of the biggest companies when it comes to the chip world. But they are very cyclical, don't get me wrong, okay, when it comes to the chip world. So yeah, there's a lot of information if you're interested on this one. I might do a bit more, basically dig deeper in this company, inshallah, in the next few weeks. But I would love to see it, because I remember, like right now, a lot of the companies that are doing really well talks about AI, and basically this is probably one of the reasons why this company has gone up so much so AI basically on ARMs is everywhere. So mobile, cloud. Yeah, this is the reason why this company has gone up so much in the last few weeks. Right, so going back to where we really started, and that's the fear and greed index. And this is a time for all of us to be patient, to be careful what you purchase, okay? Some of you might decide, okay, to buy supercomputer, supermicrocomputer. For me, when Tesla in 2020 and 2021, was every day going to the moon, whatever. I actually bought it and I did buy it as a trade. I never was planning to hold it for a very long time. I made, I think, over £5,000 at some point by just buying and selling Tesla. But then I remember Tesla had that momentum, so you're gonna have to make sure you read your charts and all of that stuff. If you are the momentum investor and you're looking for the company to go up, I don't know, it predicting company to go up 10% in the next couple of weeks, whatever. But if Nvidia comes out and says amazing good news, whatever, super microcomputer will go up with it, ARM will go up with it, and everybody else in that some bubble will absolutely basically go up with it. Just be mindful. Just make sure you understand what you're buying. You know exactly why you're buying these companies, okay, in the long run. But yeah, if it's a trade, it's a trade. If you are buying it for to hold and buy and hold basically for the long term, just be mindful. Don't get into this hype. You might get an opportunity like we've seen with Teladoc, for example. These companies can come back down, crashing very quickly, and you don't want to lose a lot of money, inshallah. Hopefully not. Let me know if you have any questions, inshallah. I just wanted to have a chat and just to give you kind of overview of where I am now. Like I said, I'm watching a lot of companies that are reporting next week. I'm watching what's happening in the market. It's election year. There's a lot of things going on. The interest rate is still high, okay? Inflation is still around, but the euphoria of the madness and whatever we are, basically this greed, this greed is not good enough. It's not good, and there's a lot of people that fueling this and telling us basically go and buy this and this. So please be mindful. Don't lose any money. Remember what Warren Buffett always said. He said, rule number 1, do not lose money. Rule number 2, do not forget rule number 1. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.